These new screenshots from the expansion to Deadside look great. This is by far the most exciting and most detailed location they're going to be adding to the game by the looks. I can see myself going to this location and doing the missions as much as I can. I just want to be clear that I am excited for this update, but I also will be critical of the choices they make with each patch, because some things they don't seem to come in the right order that would actually benefit the game in the long term. So vehicles will finally arrive in patch 0.5.0, which a lot of the community want, although it's hoverboats, which again are cool, but it's just such a weird choice to do an addition like that. Just like the fast travel and the duck hunting, it's cool, but it's just very odd, you know? People really wanted to take away that running simulator aspect of the game, and this doesn't really address that. Hoverboats could be really cool though. We just don't know how much people will use them and how useful they'll be to players who seek constant PvP. For me, as a more passive player, this is a really cool addition, as I want to explore the new area and I want something new to work for. I do think that at the very least we should have got bicycles or a dirt bike. That would have been cool for land exploration, but it is what it is. The expansion itself is super exciting. I love the idea of new landmarks in the game, new missions, and hopefully a new type of mission that will come with new types of loot. With the expansion also comes the distance between points of interest and possibly less player interaction, which I find to be an issue unless you play on PvE servers or just enjoy surviving. The main thing I hear from players who PvP is they want to get into more engagements more often. I really am no authority on the game. I only put my ideas out there because I really enjoy what the game has to offer, and I would really like it to offer more. One of the things I always thought the game could do is add more dense environments and dense points of interest that made it feel like there was a more of a suburban or city-like feel. Places people would want to hang out, loot, and run into other players. Instead of actually making the game larger, make the game so it's more lived in. I know for myself personally, I very rarely venture to the north or the very south of the map because there's just very little to do mission and engagement wise. But if they do what they did with the last patch and add more campsites and things to fill in the space between, we might find more servers are fuller and full of more engagements. I might be wrong, but I just think about how like the Stalker mods, there's so much to do in between areas, and the smaller maps in Escape from Tarkov, how often you run into people. DayZ even has that experience with its loot and mechanics. A campfire can keep you in a place for long enough that you end up in a roleplay scenario or a PvP engagement, whichever you prefer. With this expansion, we should likely see 100 player servers coming as well, which somewhat addresses the engagement issue, but it's really more relevant to the US and Euro servers only, where they always have max population. In other regions of the world, 100 players is pretty rare to see across multiple servers available. I think this is awesome that we are getting this feature, and eventually I think once the game grows and starts to bring features that draw in larger audiences, this will absolutely be necessary for the game to keep it exciting. The question is, what exactly is going to fill these servers? Without a doubt, whenever Deadside gets a new patch, especially a big one, it brings back a lot of players and sees an uptick in new players. But often, the player base tends to dip if there isn't enough added, or people just come back to check if vehicles have been added yet, and if not, they just dip again. Adding a big patch like an expansion and vehicles will definitely get people back in, but it's also about replayability. And I know that there's some of you out there who are devout fans of the game and see PvP as the replayability, but I'm talking about a feature-rich experience for new players, returning players, and content creators to make videos on. How many PvP montages can people make? It's why I don't really make them, and the fact that the Australian servers barely have enough players to maintain that kind of content anyway. People like Loaf make really great content, but he's also helping make the game now, so I don't really see more of that fact-driven or community-driven content that he's made in the past. All I can say is I am really excited about this expansion, but those are also my concerns. Like, can Deadside keep a player base going with this new patch with the amount of content they bring? We all know it's been a big year for the game, and it's had more updates than ever, and I'm looking forward to next year's roadmap. I really hope the game keeps going strong. Once this patch hits, I'll be starting my second season of the survival series on Deadside. I have been planning it for a few weeks now and have some big changes coming to it. I really hope you guys like what I'm working on. In the meantime, I'm making content on my new channel that is more mainstream stuff like COD and Battlefield, so if you want to check that out, please sub to Warchild AD. If you dig the kind of content I'm making, let me know in the comments, sub and like to help grow my channel. Thanks for watching everyone, I'll see you in the next one.